This I'm aware of, that like Israel does pay money to promote. I mean, the US government does this. The US military currently does this, where they pay TikTok baddies to pretend like they're in the military, and then do thirst traps. Like it's honeypot videos. Yeah. So there is 0% of me that sorry, Israel also does this.
For a long time, Israel has used sex to sell Zionism, to convince people that Israel is a hot fantasy being realized by hot people, not a racist settler colony built on the killing, displacement, and erasure of the indigenous Palestinians. This is intentional, and there are 3 reasons why. They involve Israel's
And also, please note,
invention in the past, cover-up in the present, and survival for the future. And this all started when Zionists first started.
Also, please note that in a lot of the advertisements and the propaganda that Israel pushes, they love to show videos of like blonde women.
Plotting for the creation of a Jewish homeland in the late 1800s.
They love to highlight the Jewish people that look very white. And they don't highlight the people who, you know, don't look exactly like that, because it helps to place a visual distinction between the, in their opinion, good people and the bad people. The bad people in this context would be the Arabs. When in reality, if you go to the Middle East, you'll find that, like, shocker, I know, the people in the region look similar, regardless of whether they're Jewish or not, or they're Arab or Muslim. So they have to make a visual distinction to push their propaganda, to appeal more to the West.
For centuries in Europe, stereotypes of Jews were that they were weak, pale, and frail. And the Zionist movement came to see it this way too, widely criticizing the weak, old Jew. In 1898, at the Second Zionist Congress in Switzerland, the co-founder of the Congress, Max Nordau, called for a new Judaism.
Oh yeah, and like this is another good point to talk about, by the way. Then they also will try and pretend like, oh, we're so much more diverse. I mean, Ethan Klein's pushing this narrative right now. Israel is so diverse. It's so diverse. Look, the first Ethiopian woman to become Miss Israel. Look, see? Which, like, I'm not shitting on her. I'm shitting on Israel's propaganda tactics. Meanwhile, they literally have sterilized Ethiopians. Israel's literally done that.
A muscular Judaism, and invented the idea of the new Jew. This Jew would be rugged, muscular, strong, and tanned, and would have the mental and physical strength to realize the goals of Zionism and colonize Palestine. They called themselves Sabra, the prickly pear fruit in Hebrew, to represent what they saw this new Jew to be: hard and prickly on the outside, but tender-hearted and sensitive on the inside. And, of course, native to the land. Of course, the sabr, as it's called in Arabic, is a fruit indigenous to Palestine, appropriated for the Zionist fantasy of indigeneity. But anyway.
The men who came out to found this colony had never handled a plow, but they were possessed by 3 ideals: land, liberty, and labor.
It is these new Jews that created the Zionist militias that planned and orchestrated the Nakba, the mass-scale killing and displacement of hundreds of thousands of Palestinians, ending with the creation of Israel. And those same militias would be...
At Denims, they're already deleting direct links to your video and posting clip chimps of it instead. If I'm so wrong and so bad and so evil, why can't you just watch the video? Chat, if I ever get to the point where that type of shit is happening here and I'm just explicitly lying and I can't show context ever, and anytime someone in my life or team or in chat is pointing out that like this clip is deceptive or whatever, please, you have to leave. Don't be like these people that are just like, they're so indoctrinated that they let this guy willingly lie to them. They're they have to believe in the narrative because of the sunk cost in their brain that the only way that they can justify their hatred is by lying, and they're totally cool with it. They're like, yeah, you're right, it's okay. He has to lie because his enemies are so evil.
Judge me by my enemies.
Become the Israeli army.
Don't let yourself be lied to, chat. Have more respect for yourself. And don't, yeah, just have more respect for yourself than to let someone lie to you.
Violent occupying force overseeing the colonization of Palestine today. And it's through this army that the visual of the new Jew lives
This is
on.
the video we're watching right now.
But then with time, this
Exclamation point
visual
watching.
became the only visual of Israel. This was a problem. In the early 2000s, surveys in the US were showing that Israel had a big PR problem with men aged 18 to 35 who just saw Israel as a conflict zone and weren't interested. So another rebrand was due, and the solution this time was bikinis. In 2007, the Foreign Ministry and the Ministry of Tourism arranged for a photo spread in Maxim magazine, one of the most popular men's lifestyle magazines at the time. The brains behind this initiative at the Israeli consulate in New York said the models were, quote, a Trojan horse to present Israel as a modern country with nice beaches and pretty women. This video is from the official Israel in New York YouTube channel.
So you should come to Israel. We have a beautiful country, great food, great culture. Come to Israel. Beautiful girls as well. See you at the party.
This strategy, also called bikini diplomacy, has been seen all over since, with Israel constantly
Gal Gadot. Can't act and simps for Israel? Pick a struggle, girl. Come on.
selling the image of a
Come
liberal,
on,
free
dude.
country where it's always summer, where the days are full of beaches, bikinis, and chiseled bodies, and the nights are spent in an incredible nightlife scene open to anyone and everyone. In the face of this fantasy, Palestinians come off like a backwards, pesky nuisance trying to disrupt this liberal orgy utopia, not like colonized people looking for freedom and dignity. But that was in a time before social media, where only the powerful had access to a platform. Times have changed, and so the sexy offensive has had to adapt. All over TikTok and Instagram, you can find videos of Israeli soldiers posting thirst traps or dancing videos. Some of them act independently, while others are part of a concerted effort putting attractive women in the occupation forces in the public eye. Like the women at Alpha Gun Angels, a gun modeling and social media marketing agency who sell being a colonial foot soldier as a sexy lifestyle.
But listen, I've been in the army, I'm Israeli, I'm tough.
Thirst traps aren't only reserved for women, but for weapons as well.
And I love this beat.
And beyond selling sex, they're selling colonial occupation as fun, relatable, and empowering. They love gay pride content, girl boss content, and
Siri, can gay people get married in Israel?
jumping on TikTok trends. Of course, the great irony is that none of these liberal values are extended to Palestinians. They live under occupation, regardless of what
Yeah,
they
people are
identify
posting this one
as.
as well.
In that, colonialism does not discriminate.
I'm sorry.
Values are extended to Palestinians. They live under occupation, regardless of what they identify as. In that, colonialism does not discriminate. When the Palestinian reality started reaching people around the world, the strategy had to change. Whereas the goal before might have been to rebrand and repackage Israel, the goal now is to distract and whitewash. So bikinis were traded in for military uniforms. Fine, military occupation is a part of the reality, but it's not what you think. It's empowering and fun and sexy. Do you really think people this fun, young, and free would have it in them to commit war crimes? The public perception of Israel is essential to its survival, but so is something else. That there are enough settlers there.
My wife was in a cult as a child, and they did this same exact thing. They call it flirty fishing, and they used younger, attractive girls to entice men to join their group. Yes, it is very common. It's a common cult strategy. You have to pretend like what you're selling is good and based.
To keep up the colonizing. That brings us to the final
Romanticize it a
reason
little.
Israel uses sex to sell Zionism. So Jewish Zionists have more kids with other Jewish Zionists. Have you ever heard of birthright? It's an all-expenses paid trip to Israel that young Jews across the world are eligible for, as long as they're between 18 and 26.
Thousands of Birthright Israel participants filling the seashore with endless smiles, scholars, accents, and 10 bodies.
I didn't really have a connection to the homeland, and I came here, and just everybody's so great, and I'm just like overcome with like connection.
It's like you're high on Zionism.
I am really high right now.
The trip is sold as a journey home for young Jews to connect with Israel on an emotional and adventurous 10-day itinerary where they're accompanied by Israeli soldiers. That's not a coincidence. In the early days of Birthright, the billionaire co-founder Charles Bronfman said, quote, he was bothered that the kids on those early trips weren't bonding with their Israeli peers. His answer was developing the mifgash, the encounter, between Jewish Israeli teens and their diaspora counterparts. These encounters move very fast to what we call hormonal mifgashim. Things happen.
Countless romances from the trips have blossomed into serious relationships and even marriages.
And it looks like these boys and girls like each other a lot. I mean, you might have a lot of Jewish babies coming out of this trip eventually, a lot of marriages, a lot of relationships. Is that part of it?
Yeah, it doesn't have to be eventually. It can be tonight.
It's not a coincidence that intimacy is a part of
Think about it. One of the IDF's and Israel's favorite narratives to push is that these settlements have to stay because there's children there. They push this narrative really hardcore because it's an effective narrative. It obviously doesn't address the fact that, like, it doesn't suddenly make this settlement okay. That you have a child there doesn't mean that settlements are good now. Like, it's fucking disgusting. And like, they don't even try and pretend like what people are talking about is like eminent domain and that these people should get their homes back. These Palestinians that were kicked out of their homes should get them back. But why do you think, sorry, let me rephrase. Do you really think that the country that uses, there are children in the settlements as a propaganda talking point on why they can never give these homes back, do you really think that it's so far-fetched that they would also want to encourage people to have children now, to populate their settlements? Also, do children not move? Has that never happened? It's also fucking dumb. It's also stupid. Because it's all bad faith, right? Every part of it is bad faith. The settlements are bad regardless of whether there's children there or not. It doesn't mean you have to burn the settlements down. It means that the people whose homes that originally belonged to you, that they should get their homes back. People move with their families all the time. I don't see why suddenly because you had a kid there, you shouldn't move from this settlement. Huh? One of the biggest preoccupations of very right-wing Israelis is fighting against intermarriage. This is crazy. This is from the BBC. It's from 2014. Intermarriage when Jews wed non-Jews has been called a threat to the future of the survival of the Jewish nation. What happens when there are reports of Israel Prime Minister's son dating a Norwegian non-Jew? The Norwegian Daily Dagen last week reported that Norwegian Sandra Lykanger and Prime Minister Bibi's son Yara are a couple, to which the office of Mr. Netanyahu has responded, insisting that they are only college classmates. It sparked an outrage because she's not Jewish. Jewish country, which since its inception has fought to have its Jew. How is this not an ethno-state? How is this not an ethno-state? Oh my fucking God. Chat, just for 1 second, replace Jews here with whites and replace non-Jews with blacks and tell me that this is not someone trying to push for a fucking ethno-state. Oh my fucking God. While Judaism is not a proselytizing religion, Lykanger, like any non-Jew, does have the option of converting should she wish to become Jewish. Intermarriage assimilation are quintessential Jewish fears when called the threat to the future survival of the relatively small Jewish nation. According to Jewish law, the religion is passed down through the mother. So if a Jewish man tries to marry a non-Jewish woman, their children would not be considered Jews, which is like levels of anti-Semitism that are crazy, by the way. Yeah. The next paragraph whitewashes genocide. Wait. The chance that children of a mixed couple would keep or pass along any Jewish tradition to future generations is radically diminished as today's rate of intermarriage among diaspora Jews stands above 50%. Many are worried that the nation that survived persecution, pogroms, and the Holocaust eventually could die out of its own undoing. If you're in this chat and agreeing with this misrepresentation and ignorance of Jewish history, fuck you. Yeah. Also, like the framing of like the nation that survived the Holocaust. The nation was literally born after the Holocaust. The religion and the people and the ethnicity they survived the Holocaust. The country, are you fucking kidding me? Anxiety was expressed in an open letter by the Israeli organization Lahava, which works to prevent assimilation, which warned him that his grandparents are turning over in their graves. They did not dream that their grandchildren would not be Jews. Dude, this is that one comic. Have you guys seen the comic with like the black grandparents that like they see the lineage down and they get like mad? Do you guys know what I'm talking about? This is like a deep fried like internet meme. Oh, it's this comic. This is it. This is the comic. Have you guys seen this comic? This is one of the craziest comics I've ever seen in my life, dude. This is back before AI, so someone drew this shit, dog. It's like the grandparents are happy because like their kids are black, and then in this one, the grandparents are happy because it's not that case. It's not that way. And they're like, what the fuck? I know. And that's what this article is saying. He warned him that his grandparents are turning over in their graves. They didn't dream that their grandchildren would not be Jews. What the fuck? Whoa, dude. 2021 or 1821? Dr. Omar asked cartoon. Dr. Omar, stop. No. And like, here's the thing. I do think that like it's reasonable to want to talk about these issues when it comes to like culture, because you don't want to watch your kids just like abandoned. This is also very true for immigrant parents, that like they don't feel like they can pass on their culture and they don't want their culture to die. But like you can pass on your culture and your culture can continue to be around the race or the ethnicity or religion of the person that your kids choose to marry out of love. Shouldn't be relevant. Like, it's just fucking weird. It's just fucking weird. I think it's fair and I think it's reasonable to be sad if you watch your culture get erased because your kids don't want to pass it on. But that's different. That's a different thing. That's just like, no, you should only marry this group so we can continue this particular lineage. That's fucking creepy, dude. Your kids are their own people, you fucking freak. What the fuck, dude? Motaz responded to Ethan Neal's claims about Hassan not going to Gaza. I remember my conversation with Hassan when he hosted me in his house for an interview. I saw how much he was moved and wanted to learn more from people who lived lived the genocide in Gaza. It's of course impossible for Hassan and others to enter Gaza because of restrictions. The only way for the world to see and hear the truth is through the eyes of Palestinians who document the constant Israeli crimes or live under occupation. We're all being censored or deplatformed in some way. Thank you, Hassan, for refusing to be silenced by ignorant people. I hope one day we can welcome you to Gaza. Sorry, I'm like trying to think of how I want to say this, but like, isn't it especially evil to say, yeah, well, Hassan, if you care about Gaza so much and you're uplifting all these Palestinian voices and you're trying to give as much credibility and as much attention to Palestinians talking about their experience and to Gazans talking about their experience, why don't you go there? So that they can kill you. Like, what are we talking about here? What are we talking? Palestinians talking about their situation. That's not good enough for you? Him spending his time highlighting these voices. That's not good enough for you. Literally, it is literally in the news today that there are, it is a ceasefire, by the way, and 9 Palestinians have died. 3 of them have been journalists. Do you know what Bibi would give to be able to murder Hassan?
The trip. Participants spend the whole trip with Israeli soldiers intentionally chosen to be attractive. They're taken out for nights of drinking and dancing, and some even spend a night in a fake Bedouin tent, quote, where participants sleep crowded together, a setup conducive to first kisses.
I remember even on the trip that I attended, there were 2 Israeli soldiers who clearly were into each other. Like they very much had a vibe. And someone made a joke on the trip that you have to save yourselves for the Americans, basically clarifying that they were there to seduce us.
So why is coupling so encouraged on these trips? Well, the originator of the idea for Birthright said one of his main goals was to, quote, create a situation whereby spouses are available, because at the time, intermarriage between Jews and non-Jews was at a high, which isn't great when you're trying to build an ethnocracy. To maintain a demographic majority over Palestinians, Israel needs Jews to make more Jews. So what better way to encourage reproduction and immigration than through a coming-of-age, euphoric, emotional, and adventurous trip? The reality of Israel's nation-building story is violence, displacement, dispossession, colonization, and settlement. That's not a great brand. In order to get settlers invested in the vision and try to secure the future, sex is a great tool. Beauty and aesthetics and fun are great marketing tactics, and they have tangible outcomes, like more babies. More babies means more people to get conscripted to the occupation forces and maintain the oppressive military infrastructure
And also maintain these settlements
necessary for Israel to exist. And what better way to convince...
Because Israel knows that it's, there's some fucking guy from Brooklyn taking a Palestinian person's home. It's very easy to be like, what the fuck? Get the fuck out of this country, dude. Are you fucking kidding? You took someone's home. Listen, you want to move to Israel? Fine. Why are you taking someone's fucking house? You're a citizen in another country and you're taking this person's house. What the fuck is wrong with you? They know that there's no defense to that. But when it comes to Israeli citizens that were born there, then they can hide behind, you're just trying to attack these babies. It's like, first of all, people move all the time with children. No one is suggesting that any of these people be harmed. They're suggesting that, hey, maybe you should move somewhere else in Israel that isn't taking someone's home. Maybe you could live somewhere in Israel that isn't directly on top of someone's home, someone who is currently alive today. That seems fair and reasonable. But they get to hide again behind the, no, how could you ever want this to happen? How are you? You're such a terrible person.
People to at least...
They literally have a goon platoon. Stop, I forgot about the goon platoon. Stop.
Other way, and at most participate,
not the
than by making it sexy.
Yeah. The what now? It is hard to do when the entirety of Israel is stolen land and burnt communities. Yeah, but I mean, like, I'm talking about the people currently living in settlements where the homes that they took belong to people that are currently alive. You can remedy that today. Is it not right? Like, that doesn't feel like murky water to me. That feels clear. That feels like very clear, a simple solution. That maybe the people who are alive today should get their home back? Is it not cruel? Anyways. Is it the Golani Brigade? Is this the one? Or is it a different one? I'm trying to find the people don't know about it, and I'm trying to find it. Where is it? I don't know what to look for, and searching Goon Platoon is not. Is it this one?
You looked. Chatters were saying you were confused when I said Goon Platoon. Are you familiar with the idea of semen extraction squads?
No, I'm not.
Oh,
what the fuck is the Goon Platoon?
Oh.
No idea.
She thinks it's just another rocket attack, but
I just want to give you some clarification on what this is. This was not a meme. This is released by the Israeli government's own YouTube channel.
Okay.
gripping fear prickles through Shiley's entire body, and it's outside their bedroom window. Her husband, Yahav, fights the danger as Shiley runs, leaving everything behind to protect their baby, Shaya. She hides from the terrorists hunting her for 27 hours, terrified, praying that the love of her life will survive. She clings to hope that she won't need to raise their newborn alone. 4 days later, her heart shatters. She hugs Shaya tightly
Is
and
this one where I
knows
think it's going?
she must fulfill Yahav's dream to create.
What? She must fulfill Yahav's dream to create more life.
Play it.
More life. So, Shiley puts out a call for the unthinkable to retrieve his seed and be able.
Shiley Attar.
This is posted by official Israeli accounts, okay? I have 2 hours to get my husband's sperm sample after he sacrificed his life. Who can help?
All right, I have 2 hours to get my husband's sperm sample after he sacrificed his life. Who can help? What? Why are you? It looks like you're confused. This is a pretty normal thing and not weirdly eugenicist at all, I think.
Finish it.
Able to continue growing their family. She's in her own war against time, and the crowd leaps into action to
Until the sperm is no longer viable.
complete her desperate mission. But it's too late.
They lost
Shiley
the
did
nut?
everything she could to save her family. We still have time to save ours. So Shiley puts out a call for the unthinkable to retrieve his seed and.
I was muted, sorry. This is the official Israel Twitter account. This was posted on the official Israel Twitter account, @Israel.
Be able to continue growing their family. She's in her own war against time, and the crowd leaps into action to complete her desperate mission.
Dude, the fucking thing. Israel commando captured. Launch war crimes. Kill hostages, Hannibal directive. Destroy civilian infrastructure, Dahia doctrine. Isn't it crazy that this is real? It. Yeah. 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 genuinely like in awe, in awe. Israel. Anywho, the next thing I wanted to talk about with you guys, using tribute and title was certainly a choice. Stop. No. Stop it. Oh, here, some people who actually genuinely don't know, I think, were asking how exactly are people taking their homes by force. Here, I want to play this for you guys. For people, because I think that there are people who genuinely don't know that these people's homes are being taken in front of them. And there's nothing that they can do about it. I have to pee really badly. So I'm going to play this for you guys.
تعيشي وبيتك مستوطنين وحواليك مستوطنين قدامك مستوطنين ووراكي مستوطنين وكيف ما بتخافي. You are stealing my house.
And if I don't steal it, someone else is gonna steal it.
No one is allowed to steal it. يا جماعة على الرغم من كل ذلك والله العظيم الاشي مش يعني بديش اتفاخر واعمل فيها وطنية ابدا، لانه انا ربيت هون وخلقت هون، بحس انه يعني مستحيل ابدل هذا المكان في العالم كله. لا اؤمن بمحاكم الاحتلال الاستعمارية الاستيطانية، لانه بالنهاية القضاة نفسهم مستوطنين، القوانين وضعت لخدمة الاستيطان والمستوطنين، فصراحة ما بيكون عندي هذا الأمل إنه والله ممكن ينسفونا، لأنه بالنهاية ما بدهم إيانا أصلاً نكون هون.
أو ثلاثة كل ما بمرق على جوا عيني بالدمع. أنا ما بكيتش إلا أمي وأبوي.
This is, wow, there's a lot more to this video. Jesus.
مش رح نروح محل، رح نضلنا ببيوتنا لآخر لحظة.
Since I'm here, I can read out the Arabic dialogue. I can read out the subtitles for you guys. We're going to stay in our homes. Sorry. We're not going anywhere. We're going to stay in our homes until the last moment. If the dispossession goes ahead, it will be the second time Israelis have forced the Al-Kurd family out of their homes. We fled in 1948 from Haifa. And when we fled, we weren't all together because they imprisoned my father. We fled together with my mother and siblings. They imprisoned my father for 9 months, and they seized his restaurant. He had a restaurant on the port. I still have his restaurant's permit. So they imprisoned him and they took away his restaurant. In 1956, Jordan and the UN Refugee Agency resettled the Al-Kurds and 28 other families in East Jerusalem in exchange for giving up their rights as refugees. At that time, the West Bank and East Jerusalem were under Jordanian control. Israel captured East Jerusalem in 1967 and has occupied it since. We've been facing issues with the Israeli occupation and settlers who claim ownership despite not having any papers to prove it. Our situation in Jerusalem is incredibly sensitive. When the Sheikh Jarrah falls, Jerusalem will fall. We're in a strategic center for the Israelis when it comes to Jerusalem. If they take over Sheikh Jarrah, they'll take over the whole Holy Basin. Palestinians have participated in a series of protests in recent months to save Sheikh Jarrah families from becoming homeless. Occupying Israeli forces have responded violently to these demonstrations. They look at it like an enclosed puzzle. They take out piece after piece. They don't attack and take it all over at once. They don't take all the pieces out at once. And some of our Arab leaders are still asleep. They haven't awoken. Muna has been at the forefront of the Save Sheikh Jarrah campaign, which has garnered international attention. I'd like to say to the Arab nations that have normalized ties with Israel, I hope you don't do well, because by normalizing the ties, you agree with what's happening in Sheikh Jarrah. You agree with the explosions that are taking place. You agree with the demolition of the Palestinian homes, and you also sponsor Israel financially too. I don't know how much of that I'm even allowed to show, so I'm just going to skip it. And it's true that they're burning olive trees, but for us, when they burn one, we plant 10. We're solid, we're strong, and no one can move us. And then it's just the text that says, we will not leave. No one would agree to give up their home to a thief. So we will not leave our home. Like, I think people who aren't perfectly informed on the situation don't understand that it is very much so a violent act of stealing these people's homes. Like, it is these people's homes 100%. In other instances, if they aren't physically using force to remove these people, what they do is they will cut off like the power lines. They will cut off the water lines. They'll make the house unlivable so that the person is forced to move, which has happened to many people. Many people have documented it. And they can't repair these things. They can't fix these things themselves. They don't have the resources to. And even if they do, Israel forces just break them again until eventually they leave. And then these homes get bulldozed and rebuilt into new homes for other people, for settlers. Like, it is very much so a violent takeover. It's not an exaggeration by any means. If you see no other land has a lot of footage like this, they rebuilt over time and got destroyed multiple times. Yeah. And again, a lot of people in Gaza or even in the West Bank try very hard to stay, and they will repair, and then they get their building or utilities are destroyed, and then they'll repair it again, and they're destroyed, and they'll repair it again, and they're destroyed. So I just want people to be informed. Oh yeah, they also spray it with chemicals that are like really strong smelling that can hospitalize people. I mean, yeah, they make it, again, their goal is to make these homes inhospitable and unlivable so that they can take these homes. Right? The skunk spray can mess with your endocrine system. So yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about. I just wanted to, because it's important to talk about the stuff that is actually happening, and it's important to talk about the fact that this is not an exaggeration, and these settlements are violent. Inherently, they're violent. What's up with the olive trees? It's to destroy any culture that exists so that they can pretend like Israel's always been around, and it's always been here, and Palestinians haven't been here, and they have nothing to prove that they've been here. The olive trees in general can take like 40 years to grow for like a fully mature tree. And so they know that if they can burn them down, it'll be really hard to replace them. And some of these trees have been there for hundreds of years. So when they burn them down, they will not look anything like the trees that used to exist when they're replanted, because again, it would take a long time to get to that point. They also will plant European species in place of the indigenous vegetation. Yes. Replace them with more invasive species that use water and cause fires. It's like, guys, on the first day of my birthright trip, someone had to go pee. We were driving in the bus, so they stopped and we found some ruins with pine trees growing all over, and people wanted to know what it was. And the Israeli handlers were like, no, don't look that way. Don't worry about that.